Hi, my name is Alex Porter. I am the president of Location3 Media, a digital marketing agency here in Denver, Colorado. And a couple weeks ago I had the opportunity to go to the 2.5-day intensive at Boulder Digital Works up in Boulder, Colorado. And wanted to provide a recap to you guys by going through my little notebook that I took notes on while I was there. It was very enlightening, and hopefully I can share some insights with you that I picked up along the way. Also did a lot of twittering, so if you want to follow me at @Porter32, you can pick up some of the random thoughts that went through my mind in a full stream of consciousness. But going to attempt to go through this book and see if we can have some takeaways. So here we go. All right, here's my little book. They give us some great markers there that were like these king-size Sharpies that really stunk up the room, but we were in Boulder after all. So we'll just kind of fly through this. I'm going to try to make this YouTube acceptable under 10 minutes. So what we're looking at here is the first day. I was having an issue with wireless. This is the code that Microsoft told me to go check out if I was having issues, but luckily the good folks at the Digital Works helped me. So the very first thing I remember doing was by the CMO of Mullen, and he mentioned a few things. So Tim Brown on TED.com recommended a book to read by him, just mentioning some stuff I had never heard of before: Hot Potato, Quora, PlantCast, Postgres. Here's kind of the BDWCU is a great one to follow, and then the BD Digital Works is something really good. All right, so just kind of the social media to monitoring, what's the talk. A lot of this, the first one I was kind of like, hey, I know all this stuff, so I was starting to jot down some ideas for different clients and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of fly through this. This is a great piece that he mentioned about how to grow your agency. Essentially, if you have services down here and your existing clients up here, you kind of have your existing services to your existing clients. Down here, it talks about if you have a new service, the easiest sell is to existing clients. Us as a company have done a lot of rapid growth here. Up here is new clients, existing services, and this is where you got to get the cold calling and the marketing and all that. It's typically the hardest. And then really for the big growth is new services to new clients. Really kind of just a great way of looking at things from a business development standpoint. TED.com mentioned reading the book Malcolm Gladwell, Spaghetti Sauce. Mentioned the best way, a way that folks went out and engaged with top bloggers and top YouTube posters. Said you can go and just reach out to YouTube and find out who these folks are, send them a product, for example, and they're going to write about it for the most part. So that was a pretty cool idea. Nothing is static. You need to understand the consumer, monitor what they're doing. Really, this is the first time of many that they talked about multidisciplinary teams transitioning into interdisciplinary teams. Kind of this T-shaped person that comes up multiple times through this. Mentioning the value of the checklist. Don't underestimate the value of the checklist. You mentioned the doctor somewhere that operated on the wrong leg. And the takeaway was that to really introduce those team members, after you introduce people, they typically will speak up more often. So one of the first things that they do on any meeting is make sure everyone knows each other. And it says that the amount of stuff that's been coming out of meetings has increased tremendously. And just really fostering that commitment to learning. That was a big kind of takeaway for me. So in terms of, instead of creating media plans, changing that to creating interest plans. So interest plans. I like that concept. One takeaway was to take your money away from focus groups and apply them to social media. I have down here Ning, which I hadn't used before, but got into while I was there. So I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. How much money? The question was, how much money do we do this? How much money we put into social media? And the suggestion was, take that out of your focus groups and apply it to social media, because that is your focus group. That got a lot of ahums from the crowd. So the Dell customer service model, I have a note down here to myself to apply this to our franchise social media support. Gonna have to jog my brain a little bit more about what I meant for that, but that sounds smart. Applying Moneyball tactics to media buying. This was from Varick Media Group, I believe, at DPS. Moneyball, great book. So I like the idea of of doing that. And since then, I've had some talks with these guys and are going to hopefully engage with them. These are some talking points I wanted to ask them about in terms of last click attribution, Transys being mentioned as a big player in the local space, and what's going on with the FTC and retargeting and that sort of thing. He mentioned a campaign where they targeted people in their 9s for casinos. Took this back and wrapped this into a proposal for a client that already got accepted, so that's good. We'reallfans.com, awesome example of user-generated content for the Grammys. The big takeaway from me with this was that the Grammy viewership increased by 37%, based largely on this marketing effort. Fan buzz by Visible Technologies is something that I've been meaning to look into. The Devo song study, hysterical. If you haven't seen this, Google it right now and look at it. It's a great example of being clever on the web. Note to myself that I have to go to South by Southwest next year, so let's hope that really happens. Interaction design, information architecture, like the concepts behind that, really talking about developing personas, requirements, the metrics, competitive analysis, heuristic analysis. Just this was a talk by somebody about process and etc. A hub and spoke model for going through that process. Generous ideas are better than big ideas. So creating a social mission, not just a commercial proposition. And a kind of a really cool example, not for that, but this layer tennis. If you haven't checked that out from a graphic designer standpoint, it's a really unique way that Adobe has really engaged that marketplace. Peacock versus a Bowerbird. This is by Gareth K. I'm probably not saying his name right. He also did this presentation at the 4A's Transformation. It's a pretty clever little way of talking about how we're, who we're looking at and who we should be paying attention to. So org charts, yes, but they can't drive culture. They need to be nimble, something that we're really working on. Really avoid a relay, so don't want to hand things off between teams, but to have fun. Moving from why and what to what and how. 95 out of 100 ideas don't work, so have a lot of them. And really trying to figure out what's the problem, who is this among, how might we approach the solutions, how do I get involved, and what will keep the conversation going. All good things. This is when we had to figure out how to make NPR more relevant. It was a fun little process I did with the folks over at Cactus, Joe and Jamie. That was a good time. Best Buy, 78% of consumers buy on a recommendation of a friend. Wow, that's pretty big. Best Buy, all we have is our culture. That's how they differentiate. This is a question we get asked a lot as an agency. So we've really been hammering home this talent plus technology. And it's really how we can differentiate as our people and the power we put behind our people to make these things work. So they're not clients, they're partners. Create this symphony of listening, virtue solutions for van acquisitions and Facebook reach block. Some stuff that Best Buy was talking about. We should use Keynote for presentations was a takeaway. This concept of a creative technologist. So technology plus communication. Agency dilemma, they must be right and interesting. The motivation for change is fear. And 3, the really big thing is the relevance. Some pitch consultants that we should talk to is Pyle and Company. This is a character at GSD&M that I should get in touch with. Issue at Goodby Silverstein was a lack of vision led to questions about leadership of the company. Art teaches business to dance. Kind of like that quote. 45 seconds. Low strike rate clients equals problem clients. We work dumb. Account planning and media planning need to come together in the terms of a strategy department. Top 4 elements that clients look for from digital ROI, analysis of behavior, search, and CRM. Metrics for agency, client relationship survey, internal survey, awards, goal, best agency judged by peers. That's how to get to a golf course I went to. That's something that I should look into, shared link optimization. And that's it.